Hey, Lee Robinson here from American Sentinel Canine. In this video, we are going to discuss a newly released pistol called the Shield X that was released just 2 days ago by Smith & Wesson. And I'm disappointed to say they've changed a few things that I wish they wouldn't have changed. I'm glad to see they added a couple of features that we were requesting for a long time. But as a person who has been shooting the Smith & Wesson for M&P Shield and also the full size for decade, I was glad to see that they added some things, but I already knew what I basically wanted, and they changed the new release, the Shield X, to add a couple of those things that we wanted. But why did they have to go and mess up a couple of the other things that we liked? And so we're going to discuss that in this video. Now you might think, well, who are you to give feedback to Smith & Wesson? You're a dog guy. You're right. I am Lee Robinson from American Sentinel Canine, and the American Sentinel, S-E-N-T-I-N-E-L, means guardian. We have been breeding guard dogs for over 25 years. So whether you're using a Sentinel for family protection or business protection or for hog hunting, guess what's common in all three of those scenarios? A carry pistol. Having a pistol for carry, for self-defense, or to dispatch a dangerous boar as it's charging you can be a life-saving situation. And so I have been using pistols for a number of years. Now, obviously, we like the AR platform a lot. I use AR-15s and the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus Performance Center with a 4-inch barrel. That's my primary gun. We do have a full-size gun. The reason why I like the Shield Plus Performance Center with the 4-inch barrel is because of my applications of protection work and hog hunting. Now, I will say they also make this gun with a 3.1-inch barrel, and if you carry appendix, that would probably be the gun that you would want to go with. I don't carry appendix for a couple of reasons. I don't carry appendix is there are what's called accidental discharges. An accidental discharge can happen when a person reholsters their gun too quickly, and they go and they put their gun in their holster, and instead of keeping their trigger finger out, they accidentally put their trigger finger in the holster, and as they go deeper, it goes into the trigger well, the trigger guard, and will pull the trigger and accidentally discharge in their holster on their body. Now, obviously that's shooter error, right? That should not happen. With good training, you should keep your finger out there. You can draw fast, but holster slow, y'all. Don't try to get in a hurry to holster quick. Be slow when reholstering. Yes, it looks cool to whoosh, whoosh. That's how accidents happen. So you can grab it quickly and pull it out. But once you have it out, you can put it on target, make the shots that you need to shoot quickly if need be. And then when you go to reholster, take your time. Make sure your trigger finger does not go in your holster, and reholster carefully. Now, there's a company called SIG that makes a gun called the P320 that allegedly there are some accidental discharges with the gun in the holster, allegedly, again, with people not even putting their finger in. Now, some of them they have put their finger in, but some of them claim that they have not. Now, I wasn't there, and so I'm not going to put any blame on SIG, but if you go look at some of the videos, you can see there are people that just bend over that carry this gun, and you can't see anything going on, at least I can't, in that video that justifies a discharge, and they had a discharge with the SIG P320. So with that type of stuff, knowing that that can be a possibility, I don't carry appendix. I carry on my side. Now, there's another advantage to carrying on the side. If somebody comes and attacks me straight on, and I have to pull up my shirt with one hand, grab the pistol with the other hand, now both of my hands are preoccupied. Yes, I can let go of my shirt with my left hand now, but I can't get my gun up, and it's in front of the perpetrator. And they can come in there and they can push that gun right back down into my abdomen or groin, or maybe even my legs, and I could take an injury there from my own firearm. I don't want that to happen. So by having the firearm on my side, I can turn my body to the side. I don't use my offhand to grab the weapon. I just reach over and I grab the weapon. We have another one here that's exactly the same. This is my backup. So 2 is 1, 1 is none. That's a philosophy from the military, and I kind of do that approach. So this is my backup pistol. Both of these pistols are Smith & Wesson M&P Shields Plus Performance Center with the 4-inch barrel. On that side, the barrel is pointed down. It's not poking me in my groin. It's not poking me at all. So I like the 4-inch barrel. Also, with the 9mm, when you get down to a 3-inch barrel, performance is still good, but you're entering the realm of limited performance. Okay, I'll call it limited performance. It's still good. It still meets FBI criteria if you're shooting good ammo, but it starts to get limited. When you go to a 3.5-inch barrel, performance goes up. So if you have a ported barrel, I would want at least a 3.5 because porting reduces performance. You get a 3-inch ported barrel and you're getting worse than the 3-inch barrel because gases are coming out before the bullet's out of the chamber. So you're not going to have the same velocity as a 3-inch unported with a 3-inch ported. So if I have a ported barrel, I want a longer barrel, at least 3.5 or 3.6 according to Smith & Wesson. That's what they do. And then you also have the 4-inch ported barrel. So this is a 4-inch ported barrel, and the barrel length doesn't bother me one bit. Now, why have I chosen the Shield Plus Performance Center over some of the other platforms? Now this gun is unloaded now. I just unloaded it. You have a firearm in this position. It doesn't have a magazine in it and it's empty. Maybe you just emptied your firearm and you go to pull out a magazine. Well, what happens in a situation like this? Well, one of the things I like about the Shield Plus Performance Center, it has not just a tuned trigger, but it also has a tuned action. The Shield Comp Performance Center, I don't believe has the tuned action. It just has a tuned trigger, or the Performance Center trigger. When I insert this magazine, that slide drops. I don't know if that happens on the Comp, the Shield Comp. It may, but I like that. I know that it also happens on the full size. Let's see if it'll do it again. It does it again. I can't say that it'll happen every time, but it happens almost every time. And I like that in a gun that's used for hog hunting or self-defense. Boom, right into action. So I like that. Let me go ahead and top off this magazine because now we got one in the chamber. And let's talk about some of these other guns here, and then we'll come back to the Shield X. So on the full-size gun, you can see that we have a light. This has been my pistol that's been by my bedside or by my recliner, something that I can grab quickly, and should I need a light, boom, right? We got a light right there. Okay, so I would like for my secondary non-carry pistol, my home defense pistol, to have a light. I would love it if the Shield had a light, but it doesn't. There's no accessory rail. And so they came out with the Shield X. You can see there's no accessory rail. Now you can get a light on this, but it's kind of a weak, wimpy light. They have a couple versions. Nightstick makes one, Streamlight makes one, but they're kind of weak lights. They're not as bright as this one, right? So this one has a very bright light. The Shield doesn't allow those bigger lights. Well, the X solves that problem. And so I was like, great, I've been waiting years. Before the Plus, they had the regular Shield. It only had 7 or 8 round capacity. It didn't have an accessory rail. Then they came out with the Plus, or the 2.0. Then they came out with the Plus. None of these Shields have had accessory rails to mount a light. You can get those little weak lights, but you couldn't get a real good light. Well, I may not want a light on my carry gun, but with the mode of operations, I would like for my home defense gun to have the same grip, same recoil, same mechanics of arms, mechanics of operations as my carry pistol. I like you ever heard the statement, the guy with one gun? Beware of the guy with one gun. I believe there's a lot of truth to that. So I'd like for my home gun and my carry gun to be the same. So I'd be willing to give up this 17+1 gun for a carry gun that could fulfill this role with a light on it. And the Shield X would do that because it has the accessory rail, and it's 15+1 or 13+1. And 15+1 is 16 rounds. This is 17+1. So I'd only be giving up 2 rounds to gain the idea of both platforms having the same mechanical operation, mechanics of arms, all right, or mechanics of operation. So I'd do that. I would like the rail and I like the grip length. But then they changed some things that I don't like. One, I want a ported barrel. When you're dealing with these light frame guns, the ported barrel blows gases out the top. Now, let me go ahead and drop this mag and unchamber the round. And you'll see, lock it back, that barrel has vents in it. This is the Performance Center 4-inch But the comp version has a more of a dish here, and it's in front of the sight, and it keeps the sight cleaner. And so that comp version is a good port as well. Both this port, these two little ports, or that one big port, ported barrels prevent muzzle flip during firing. Now, I do not have my finger in the trigger guard, so you can't see it, but you can look at my pinky. By having my pinky here, I'm able to prevent that muzzle flip, or gripping that grip when I pull the trigger. The gases come out the top and they push that muzzle back down, so that it reduces the flip. I like that. On the Hellcat, this is empty now. If I go to reload the mag, it doesn't drop the slide. No matter how many times I do it, it doesn't drop the slide. So to me, while the shorter barrel length is nice when it comes to carrying appendix, if you wish to do so, I don't like it for if I'm hog hunting or something like that. And so let me go ahead and set the Hellcat aside, because there's no need. Oh, the P365, if I'm holding the P365, I have to flip my grip to drop the mag. I don't have to do that with the Hellcat. I just have to open my grip. So I like the longer grip on the Shield X. Okay, I like that. It gets rid of this line. While some people say that line pinches them, I've never had that problem. I can insert the magazine. I just have to open my fingers. And you might say, isn't that changing your grip? I would say no, because my grip position is not being changed. I just opened up the bottom finger or two, okay? But my top finger stays locked in, and so my grip position is the same. So I'm okay with the line, although it'd be better without it, because I never use the 10-round magazine anyway. All right, for a carry, if I was gonna carry super deep concealed, I would probably use a 10-round magazine then, but I don't really do that. I tend to wear long pants and a full shirt. All right, next. Another thing they did on the Shield X was they got rid of this texture here in the center, which to me, not a big deal. Some people are really upset about it, but the newer versions of the Shield kind of have a little bit of texture all over them. Not a lot, but it's a little bit. And so by eliminating some of that texture in the center, it will help prevent chafing on your love handles or your abdomen when it's rubbing against your skin. Some people are upset about that. To me, you win some, you lose some. Easier to carry, harder to shoot because of the reduced texture. Next, squared off trigger guard. I think they went overboard. Yes, they made the trigger guard a little bit larger because they have to get that light in there to clamp on, but I think they took it a little too extreme. Not a big deal. They added a beaver tail on the back. Why would you do that? They made the throat a little bit deeper to begin with, which is supposed to help prevent recoil, and maybe it does. I can't say because I haven't shot it, but I don't need that extended beaver tail because all that did is lengthen up the gun. It's going to promote printing. I don't need that. I wish they had the port on the X. They don't. I wish they had the performance center on the X. They don't. Will those things come along in the X platform in its future? Yes, but I've been waiting for that rail and waiting for that rail and waiting for that rail. If I got the longer grip, cool, but I was waiting for the rail. They brought the rail out. They brought the longer grip out, but they don't present the port and they don't present the PC version. So how long am I going to have to wait? I waited years for the rail for the Shield. I'd like to see the Shield as it is with the rail. I don't need the extended grip. It's nice, but yes, you're going to give up magazines because these base plates don't come off. So you'd have to swap your magazines if you get the longer grip. So I'm okay with these magazines. Just put a rail on the Shield Plus. If you just put a rail on the Shield Plus, I can use my same holster. I can use my same magazines. Might not be able to use the same holster because they may have to modify it, but I don't think, yeah, they may have to modify it to get it to make a light, but maybe not. Maybe I can use the same holster, maybe I can't. I don't know. But regardless, just put a rail on the Shield Plus. Leave us the comp. Leave us the performance center. Don't take those features away. Don't give us a rail and then take away the comp and then take away the performance center features. In fact, why don't you give us a metal version? Why don't you give us a metal version of a Shield with a comp, with the performance center and the rail? Boom! That would have been a grand slam, man. You should have done that. Now we gotta wait. You came out with a 3.6 barrel. That's okay. I'm okay with that. 4-inch, I would like, if it's ported, I would want 4-inch, but I would take a 3.6 ported. I definitely don't want a 3.1 ported, and I definitely don't want a 3.1 unported. I want a ported. I'm not buying any unported guns today, especially for a compact carry gun, because that port helps control the recoil. I want a ported gun. Next thing, and this gun was empty and this gun was empty because I was planning on trading these two guns in at our local gunsmith and getting me a Smith & Wesson metal carry comp and a shield with an accessory rail, and they didn't release the shield with the accessory rail. They came out with the X, and instead it doesn't have a ported barrel, it doesn't have a 4-inch barrel, it doesn't have a performance center, and it doesn't have a metal. Metal was optional. I didn't need metal, but I'm not going to go without the port, and I would like to have the performance center. Metal, give or take, not a big deal, but performance center and port, that's essential. I hope you found this video beneficial. I do plan on having more gun videos on my channel because the idea of protection, dogs, goes along with protection. And if you're going to do protection, you should be competent in firearms. As far as gun safety goes, check your firearms. Look, if they're loaded, that's fine. Just know that they're loaded. If they're unloaded, that's fine. Just know that they are unloaded. But if you know that they're unloaded, double check them, okay? And after you double check them, before you start putting them on a trigger scale or whatever, or doing any operations, lock that sucker back, make sure it's unloaded, get the magazines away from you if the magazines are loaded, move the other guns that you have within your reach out of your reach, so there's no way that you're going to accidentally load the gun. That's how accidents happen. Accidents don't happen with unloaded guns if there's nothing else around. Accidents don't happen with loaded guns and you know how to use them and nothing else is around. Accidents happen when you're confused. You think it's unloaded, but it's not. So let's close out with that. Y'all take care and have a blessed day.